Welcome to Riverbend Talon on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
Also brought to you by Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Town Club.
All right.
And it's another Thursday night, another sea shanty sing-along, Rock the Hops weekend coming your way this weekend. And our buddy from last week, Ian Whitmore, he's playing down at the Flock Food Truck as we get underway tonight. They're doing this thing called Mississippi River Festival Presents Music and Stories from the MRF with Jack Twesden and Friends, Ian Whitmore, and Redemption River, 6 to 9 at the Flock Food Truck lot already underway in Alton. And that sounds pretty interesting. I think we should just turn things off and head down and check that out.
That would be cool. And I had heard a while back that Simmons had bought the name Mississippi River Fest, and I guess had intentions to bring back the Mississippi River Fest. But that's a hard one you can't just do it real quick like if you're going to do it righteous. And I think if he's going to do it, he wants to do it up the way the original one was. So I think this is just leading into that. That's my guess.
Well, Ian Whitmore and Redemption River is a preview of Rock the Hops going down Saturday here in downtown Alton. We're hoping to talk to some folks involved in that, including Doug Rafferty, who may call in later. We'll see. We're expecting Drew Mater to stop in as well. But right now, all we can tell you is the sea shanty sing-along's underway at 6 o'clock.
All we can tell you for sure is Drew's not here yet, and Doug's probably going to call. But we don't know.
We don't know.
Anyway, we will promote it as best we can for sure.
We shall. And so already underway, what we've talked about, also underway, Kevin Wayne Gruen up at George's Local Brew in Jerseyville, started at 6. Electric Baby Powder going to get underway at 6:30 at the Old Harold Brewery in Collinsville. Steve Klein already underway at the Prairie Inn in Dorsey, 5:30 to 8:30 up there for the golf carts. And then also going on tonight, we got Anthony Nanney at Fast Eddie's from 7 to 11. The open mic at Ragin Cajun at Alton at 8 o'clock. Drag band from 7 to 8 at Music in the Park in Bethalto. Tanglefoot 7 to 9 at Grafton Music in the Park. And what else? Cabin at Judy Creek, that's underway.
Yeah.
Drew Schaefer and Audrey Symes, 6 to 10 at the Cabin at Judy Creek in Glen Carbon. Josh Witt doing it down at Deutsch Village Inn tonight from 7 to 11 there in Pontoon Beach. Frankie and the House Shakers just underway at Patrick's in Granite City until 9. Scott Marlin, 7 to 10 at Pavia's Place in Granite City tonight. And every weekend there's a festival in Belleville.
And we got trivia night tonight.
Oh, yeah.
At the Conservatory.
We do.
So there you go.
John Spicer already underway down at Experience Live Music Row in Belleville. The Copper Fire, Kyle Waltz, 6 to 9 at Bernie's, already underway. And Josh Aker already underway at 7 in Belleville. And they do that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night.
That's that
festival every week.
And that has been going on for quite a while. So kudos to them. That's a tough thing to keep going.
Big Ben's getting a very urgent message.
I'm just making sure it's not Drew or no. I was just making sure it wasn't
I want to give you a chance to do that.
But yeah, there we go.
I don't know if you can talk and look at the same time. It could be difficult.
I fell down trying, but it's okay now. I'm better.
Okay. So everything's better.
So man, here we are, another week with a no-show.
I know.
And I was just talking to Drew, or Facebook messaging with him.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh yeah." So hopefully he's just running late, because I'd like to know. Like, we can sit here and talk about the bands, and we will. We'll discuss all the bands playing at Rock the Hops and the venues. But there's this beer thing that I never quite understand how it works.
Yeah. That's where the tickets come in.
Right. So I wanted him to clear up any confusion that there may be around that situation where it's like, okay, so I believe, and you correct me if you think this is wrong.
Oh, boy.
You buy a ticket, and that means you're getting some beer.
Yeah.
I don't know how much.
I hope so.
I don't know how much beer. I don't know, like, if it's a drink at each place or two. It's endless cup. I don't know.
Because there's venues beyond the ones that have the live music, right?
Yeah, I think there are venues that are just part of the hops. Yeah, right. They're just part of the hops, not the rock.
That's where I get confused, too. And it's been a few years now, so trying to remember.
Right. And so now I've heard a few people say, oh, it's sold out.
Yeah, well,
I don't believe that. So let's say it's sold out and you wanted to go to the Conservatory to see Astromoth. I think you can still go see the band. You just don't get your beer bracelet.
Pretty sure you can. I'm pretty sure you can.
So anybody who's going, man, I heard they sold out, I wanted to go. It doesn't mean you can't go down there and buy your own drink separate. Right. You just don't have the bracelet to get the beer.
The special deal on the beer.
Yeah, the special
whatever
deal.
That is.
Yeah, exactly. And I figure Drew would tell us exactly what that is.
Because I know Justin Level will give you a beer. Beer in there.
He's
not like they're going to hold out on beer.
He's not there to not sell beer. So
right.
Yeah. So anyway, just trying to clear up if if there's been any confusion, because whenever you see posts saying it's sold out, don't let that scare you off that you can't go down. The music is free.
Right.
Just show up. You don't need a ticket. I do believe.
Now they do have like a $5 cover later at the Conservatory following Rock the Hops.
Like the after party type
right,
thing.
Yeah.
So during Rock the Hops, you can walk in and watch the band for free and purchase beverages from the bar at regular price, I do believe. If you got your ticket, you get to get in and get whatever the drink special is that the bracelet brings. I'm not sure what that is. So there you go.
Man, you know what it could be?
What's that?
Well, we know what goes with beer. According to Frank Zappa. Well, I'm just, trying to figure out what you get for the ticket.
What are you thinking about right now?
Well, probably
that and beer.
Yeah. I mean, I can't help it. I listen to a lot of Frank Zappa.
Is it kitties?
No, it's something to do with the devil.
Oh, I thought it was kitties and beer. Like little cats.
No, it's not kitties.
Oh, okay.
But the devil's involved in that story.
Well,
he shows up.
He's involved in most of them. So,
anyways,
you know who's not involved in this conversation?
Drew Mader.
Drew Mader.
Hey, I covered for Danny Liston.
I was going to say, hey,
time.
That's what happened. Danny Liston called him up. He goes, hey, look, there's a prank we're all playing on these guys.
Right?
Just don't show.
Hey, they're playing it on our subscribers, too, because we got those. Over 300 since we started. So that's pretty cool.
There you go.
And nice built-in audience.
All right. Well, let's give them a show. I guess I'm going to... Hey, you got to see it. No, I don't know what's going on here.
Let's get some more gigs out of the way before...
before hopefully...
Yeah. 6:30. At least we can lean towards the second guy.
Yes, we are fully confident that not only could Drew Mader walk in any second and clear up all of the confusion about beer and tickets and all that, but 6:30, hoping that Mr. Doug Rafferty's going to be calling in.
That's Judge Nothing.
Judge
Rafferty,
Nothing.
right?
Yeah, there you go.
I'm looking forward to talking to him for a very long time. Anyways, let's get into Friday before it's too late. Erin Jo with special guests down at the Conservatory on Friday night, 8:30 to 11:30. MadBaileys going to be inside the banquet center at Lovejoy in Alton from 7 until 10. And Anthony Nanney, 2 to 6, 10:55, 7:30 to 11:30 at Vast Eddie's in Alton. Sarah Springman Shewmake back at it with Bruce McLaughlin, 8 to 12, 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. That is at Sports Tap in Alton. We do have shows start about 8 a.m., a couple of them.
Yeah,
so, I got to make sure you'd say p.m.
I was going to say, we've got shows starting at 8, 9, 10 a.m. It's kind of crazy, but, for those early risers, for those people who want to get up and get to those farmers markets or blues and breakfast or whatever it is. So.
We like to get bent in the river bend. We start early.
We are bent, for sure.
And that's actually slang in New York for something, that we probably don't like to get. Anyways. I've also heard it as a party reference. Just depends on what part of the country you're in.
Well, and what's Rob Halford say?
Rob Halford says metal god.
Hell-bent for leather.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what he even means there, but...
I don't know what he meant on most of his songs.
I think I know what he meant by you got another thing coming, but I don't want to go there. The Outlaw Opry is going to be playing at Baker's and Hale from 7 to 11 on Friday night. Flipside, coming to Wood River. Down at the Junkyard at 8:30.
Now, do you know where the Junkyard is?
I do. It used to be called, I'm thinking of the wrong place now. But, it's right there on the main drag. The old McDonald's somewhere in that area. Might be the old McDonald's.
Is it okay?
It's right in there somewhere.
All right. There was like
The old
No
strip.
Man's Land or something that was in there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the
all
donut
right.
shop and all that. Yeah. Anyways.
All right, yeah. So
Hey,
there you
we
go.
got the link right at cottonmouth.org, so
I got to click on it and find out.
I didn't expect questions on the junkyard. I'd have been prepared. I'm the one usually asking the questions. Reverse my role on me. And
There we go. Flip it upside down.
speaking of the Skylark brothers, not only
Yeah.
is Jack Tweston down there at the Flock Food Truck lot tonight doing the Mississippi River Festival. Stories and music down there about
Yeah.
NRF, right? He's also going to be playing with the Skylark brothers at the Corner Tavern on Friday night from 7 to 10. And right across the street, another no-show. Danny Liston. Hey, we got to give him a hard time. Hey, I was glad to hear he enjoyed that we did our best promoting his latest release, which we were not kidding. Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it is just a very well put together album.
It was not a sales pitch. That was a natural reaction to a very good album.
Yeah.
But he's with his Soul Amigos playing at the Wildey Theater on Friday night at 8 o'clock. Danny Liston and the Soul Amigos. That's what we were going to talk to him about.
Right.
He also played down at the Party at the Beach last weekend. So
Yeah. Getting back out there.
across the parking lot, the Mellows playing the back bar at 9 o'clock. The American Originals will play at Big Daddy's around the corner from 6 to 9. Robert Perry Band around the corner again. The Stagger Inn again in Edwardsville from 5 until 8. No Diggity.
No Diggity.
I wonder if that's a Family Guy reference.
I just know there's a song, No Diggity.
Okay, maybe that's it then.
That's,
Maybe that's Giggity, right?
yeah, No Giggity. That would be the Family Guy reference.
Well, it's hard telling these days. All that pop culture, I can't keep up with it.
Yeah,
But anyways,
yeah.
No Diggity, 7 to 10 at the 1818 Chophouse in Edwardsville on Friday night. And Levi and Stumpy Joe. They're playing at the cat.
Stumpy
That's
Joe.
right. Stumpy Joe. Kind of curious where the Stumpy comes from, just personally.
Yeah, okay. I'm curious too.
Yeah. So you can only find out by
I'm
going
picturing
to check 'em out.
Speaking of Family Guy, picturing Seamus stuff.
See, I don't even know who that is.
That's the guy with wooden arms and wooden legs.
Oh, okay. I remember that guy.
I don't think Stumpy Joe's going to look like that, though.
It's hard telling. But he's going to be with Levi, and he's going to be playing at the Cabin at Judy Creek and Glen Carbon, 7 to 11, on my bucket list of places to check out. Since we've been doing this show, I've been wanting to make that trip over there.
And there's a whole family of Levi's out there, so we don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
Could be Levi Strauss.
A lot of people wear Levi.
Levi Strauss and Stumpy Joe.
So, hey, how about a comedy night?
I would enjoy that.
Yeah, we need some real comedy, not ours.
that would be great. I was going to say it would sure help this show a lot.
And a past guest putting
Yeah.
together another one down at Tegan's in Granite City.
Ronaldo.
That's right.
Ricardo.
He'll be with Jason Jenkins, Ella Fritz, and Andrew Gaffigan,
Yeah.
possibly Jim's cousin. Fifth cousin.
Dude, that if he was, I hope the Comedy Bugs runs in the family there because
Yeah.
he's a funny dude.
Or the comedy, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. So there you go. I was actually talking to Ronaldo a while back. He's trying to fix up for him to come back on the show, but
That's good. He's still talking to you after our interview.
Yeah, see, we let it cool for a while. We let a little time pass so he would forget and be like, "Who are you again?" I'm like, "Oh, that one guy. You liked me." Oh, okay. I don't know. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, he was on the show with us when we were doing all Zoom type things, but yeah, it was an odd one. So, but funny guy and good for him. Still putting together comedy nights, and those are spreading, man.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more places host comedy nights. So that's
To me,
pretty awesome.
the toughest gig out of what, if I was going to try to do any of these, that would be my last pick. To stand in front of people and talk and hope it works.
Yeah, and yes.
I mean, you can turn your back when you're playing the guitar and, kind of not look at the crowd.
You can never look past the stage,
Right.
but I gotta admit, like standing up and playing an acoustic solo gets tough because there's nobody for me. There's nobody good on stage to help cover up what I am. Yeah. So you're very naked feeling. But doing the comedy is
but
somehow
if you're Graham Pagano, I mean, you're not going to mess it up. So.
Well, sure. But for a guy like me, that's a pretty naked feeling up there. But standing up doing comedy, and I remember after Dan Brown had seen me do it, he owned the Musicians Club years ago. I'd go in there and he'd say, "Oh, we're gonna have some comedy later." Dude, I haven't wrote any jokes. Yeah. Like that's not something you just kind of stand up and do unless you're good at it, and I'm not. Yeah, that's a tough one. So kudos to all to Jason Jenkins, Ella Fritz, Ronaldo Micardo, Andrew Gaffigan, all of them.
You haven't seen me paint either, right? So, but I'm talking in front of an audience. I mean, although I would like to see someone paint in front of an. We got to talk to Michael Snyder about that.
So we did that. I've done that before. We had.
I've traced the Mona Lisa live.
We had Randy Friesel painting on stage live while a band was on stage at Framley Fest 2020, 2021. I called
it cover art.
Cover art, yep.
Yeah. How
great
traced
thou
it.
art.
I traced it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Anyway, it's also going on Friday night, Hicktown, 8:30 to 12:30 at Deutz Village Inn and Pontoon Beast.
Pontoon Beast.
That's right.
Pontoon Beast.
After last weekend,
it is a beast.
No longer party at the beach, it's party at the Pontoon Beast.
Party at the Beast.
East Siders Review down at Old Harold Brewing.
All right.
Collinsville. 6:30 to 9:30. One of them fancy tickets on that one.
Yeah, free to $75, so wide range.
Yeah.
Wide range there.
Scott and Carl at the loading dock from 6 until 9 in Grafton. Dakota Daniel, 7 to 10 at Grafton Pub. Dave Caputo, 7 to 10 at the Bloody Bucket in Grafton. And Graham Pagano, 3 to 7 at Aries in Grafton Hall on a Friday. Whiskey River is going to be playing at the Prairie Town World's Fair on Friday night.
They got their own World's Fair going on.
Yep, they get all the golf carts together. And no, I don't know about that. I heard they race pigs on golf carts, but I don't know if it's true. You'd have to go. They put up fake buildings that stay there for centuries.
It's the World's Fair, man. Yeah.
That's a whole nother YouTube problem. Anyways, also going on Friday night, Salmon Creek, 6 o'clock, the Rustic in Warden. Scott and Michelle, the Yellow Dog in Warden, both at 6. Another night of Experience Live Music Row down there in Belleville with several venues jumping in. And then Flip the Frog all the way out in Root House, 7:30 to 11:30 at Martin's Lanes in Root House.
Yeah, that is quite a Friday evening,
right? So
in our fine community.
We
so
can keep rolling here.
Hopefully we're about 6 or 7 minutes from Mr. Doug Rafferty calling in. Talking about Rock the Hops, which, we will go over all the bands and stuff that are going to be there. What's that, Saturday? This Saturday. So
yeah. You want to just do some of the other Saturday and then
let's lead on into it.
Jump right back into it.
Let's do it.
So other than Rock the Hops, which is going to be at Old Bakery Beer, the Flock Food Truck Lot, Lodge at Lovejoy, and the Conservatory, Ragin' Cajun. That's where the live music's going to be.
Right.
We got Fast Eddie's always going. Sean Trost Duo, 2 to 6, Borderline 7:30 to 11:30. And you know what? The live music will be flowing down at Morrison's Irish Pub. We're not sure who.
Right, but
that'll be right down there in the middle of it.
Yep.
I suggest if you're in the neighborhood for Rock the Hop, you stick your head in and check out some Irish music at Morrison's Irish Pub.
Yeah.
That'll be free.
Absolutely. And if you haven't seen the place, it's a perfect chance if you're down there at Rock the Hops to pop in.
Neat little place. Kick Ass STL.
Look who just walked in.
7-Eleven at Third Street and all. I wonder who that could be.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Drew Mader.
Wow. Yeah. Mixed reviews.
Everybody's got an opinion.
I have 3 or 4.
Both reviews coming from you, though, Drew.
They all contradict each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, burning question at the top of our tongues.
Yeah.
You want to go with it, Pigpen?
All right, here we go. So, there are tickets for sale for Rock the Hops.
No longer.
Sold out, correct?
Sold out online.
Okay.
Okay.
However, there are a couple handfuls out at 3 of the 5 venues still available for the taking.
You happen to know which 3 venues?
You got to rob them?
Old Bakery,
Yeah.
as of yesterday, had 4 tickets.
Ooh.
Okay.
The Ragin Cajun, I believe, has a pair of tickets.
Ooh.
And the Conservatory, I don't have a exact count, but I feel like they might have a few pair of tickets.
Okay.
Well, that wasn't the burning question.
So the question is.
Wrong question.
No, I'm leading into
He
it.
is.
What do you get with the ticket? Because so you don't need a ticket to see the bands, right?
Correct.
So if anybody who's like, I really wanted to go see the bands, but I didn't get a ticket, they can still show up at the Conservatory or at any of these fine venues, still purchase drinks for regular price and all of that, and enjoy themselves. They just don't get the beer bracelet.
Correct. So with the ticket purchase comes the commemorative tasting glass,
There you
by
go.
which you taste all the yummy beers at each venue.
Remember now.
And you also have a wristband, which grants you access to shuttle service to help you hop around town to the venues.
And so is this glass an endless glass for that bracelet?
Well, I will say that we have over 40 styles of beverages to choose from, and I would be pretty impressed if anybody got through all of them. We want people to be responsible, and
I'm
You
ready
know.
to 38.
this is an opportunity to enhance your own connoisseurism, if you will,
of beer,
of fine
of
beverages,
fine beverages.
of fine craft
So there you
beverages.
go.
Now, my question is, are there venues besides the live music venues that are part of this?
No, 5 official venues
Okay.
that we are making the things happen with and at and for.
Okay. It's been a while since the last Rock the Hops. We're trying to refresh our memories.
Yeah, 2019 was the last one, and everybody knows what happened in 2020.
Yeah, we
a
don't
whole lot
talk
of nothing.
about that. Yeah. Enough of that. Let's move on.
And
Thank God
we
it's over.
2021 rolled around and it was still a little sketchy. 2022,
Got a family,
we were in the weeds with a 1-year-old.
right? I was gonna say.
And the 5-year-old and the 8-year-old that have been around for those years. So we weren't quite ready in 2022 to give it another run, but came together real nicely this year. So
Excellent.
we're excited.
Excellent. So, for those of you who are looking for a bracelet, there are a few left. Go to Old Bakery. Go to Raging Cajun. Stop in there.
Hurry up, or you're walking.
Hurry up. There's not many. Is the shuttle available only for people with the bracelets?
Yes,
Okay.
that is correct. That's a perk that we try to offer
Yes.
with the ticket purchase.
Gotcha. Okay. But the big thing is anybody seeing online or whatever that it's sold out. That doesn't mean you can't participate. It doesn't mean you can't come out and check out a whole bunch of great bands and still purchase beverages. It's just you don't get to hop on the shuttle, and you don't have the commemorative glass that people are going to keep filling for you.
Exactly. Yeah, and we highly encourage the community to come out, even if beer tasting, if craft beer just isn't your thing, but you want to check out the art and the bands. Like, this is a perfect opportunity to check out a whole bunch of that and drink whatever you want, whatever you usually order anywhere. Get lunch, get dinner. I believe everybody's serving food. Not for sure on Conservatory, but I bet there'll be food available for purchase at every place. And, definitely drinks available to purchase.
Right. Okay. Because like I say, it's been a few years. That's why we wanted to have you come in and make sure we're not saying it wrong.
Set the record straight.
Right. Set the record straight because I'm so confused. I don't even know where I am.
Some street art and vendors like that. You've had that in the past.
Yeah. Over 20, probably 20-ish local makers, artists, and crafters. Everything from watercolor paintings relevant to Alton and maybe some St. Louis landmark type subject matter, printmakers, ceramic artists, jewelry, Laura Blair and the world famous Yarn Bombers are doing an installation at Flock. So yeah, a nice cross section of the creative folks outside of the musical realm as well.
Nice.
Complementing the day.
Excellent. Sounds like a beautiful day. And that's all this Saturday, right? That is happening Saturday. And the 5 venues we mentioned, you said there's only there's 5 venues that all have live music and all have the beverages. Old Beer Bakery. Old Bakery Beer, not Old Beer Bakery.
Old Bakery Beer Company.
Old Bakery Beer. And so you got, what kind of beverages? We got 2 Hands, 1 Engine. Now, that's one of the bands. I thought it was going to be the 2 Hands Brewing.
No, yeah, that's one of the acts. That's actually somebody I'm pretty excited to have over to town. He does kind of these really heady cinematic soundscapes using just a guitar and some effects, gadgets, and a analog tape machine. So he's been doing some pretty cool things in St. Louis. We're excited to have him over.
4 to 4:45 for his performance at the Old Bakery Beer, and he'll be opened up for by Bellevue, 2:30 to 3:30.
Oh, I missed that one, didn't I? There you go. That's 2:30 start. Nice. 2:30 to 3:30 Bellevue. Oh.
And I got the feeling that Bellevue is maybe going to just get it going a little bit earlier because I think they're just eager to rock. And so I bet they'll be on by
2 o'clock.
2:15, if I had to guess.
Right.
Yeah.
So at the Old Bakery Beer, Bellevue will kick it off 2:15 around there. After that, we got 2 Hands, 1 Engine, 4 to 4:45.
Yes.
Katie Hubbard's going 5:30 to 6:30, and then the Hillside Baron 7 to 8, and that's the first venue. The second venue is the Food Flock. We got Devon Cahill.
Yeah, Devin Cahill.
Okay, 2:15 to 3. Joel, 3:30 to 4:15. Is that a person, a band?
Yeah, that's a newly transplanted Alton resident. His name's Joel Springer, and he's bringing out a band with him that should be excellent.
Excellent. Then we got Ian Whitmore, who we had on with us last week. He'll be going 4:45, 5:15. Lauren Waters, 5:45 to 6:30. Trophy Mules, 7 to 8.
Got it.
That's all at the Flock Food Truck. At the Lovejoy.
Just in time for our guest on the phone, Doug Rafferty.
I don't know. Is your mic on? I can't hear you.
Yeah, I turned it off.
Oh, there it is.
Just in time. Just in time as we get to the lodge.
Yeah.
I think we have Doug Rafferty on the phone line. Doug, you with us?
I'm with you.
Oh, there he is.
What's going on, Doug?
Hey, what's going on?
We are talking about Rock the Hops and your performance coming up this weekend at the Lodge at Lovejoy. Excited to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on and being flexible about taking a call instead of me being in town, which I'd much rather be.
Well, we missed you. We'd like to see your pretty face.
Yeah, it's even prettier these days. So.
Getting prettier by the day.
Yep.
You still living in Chicago then, I guess?
Yeah, in the Chicago area, just the south suburb just south of Chicago. Okay. So, in Homewood, Illinois.
Okay.
So, yeah. Still doing it.
Still doing it. Still making music up there?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of just solo stuff, but I'm still writing and trying to keep active that way and keeping it fresh and hoping to do new stuff on Saturday. I'm excited to play, needless to say, so I'm happy to add in some new things and some old. So it's going to be kind of an eclectic mix of anything and everything that I've done in the past 30 or 40 years.
Yeah.
That's nice. Bringing in some new stuff and going way back with some deep cuts there, huh?
Yeah, very deep. Yeah.
So since we brought up Chicago, I got to ask right off the bat, what about Pet Lover? Is that still going?
You know, it's funny you asked that. I just came up in conversation recently because someone asked about that. And, you know, we never broke up. But for a while, we were doing everything virtually. And just kind of, just because of all the software that's available, we could do things, you know, one guy's in Seattle and one guy's up in Maine and Chicago and me here. So we were still able to continue to play. So we never really split. We just went different ways. But once a year, we try to get together in Chicago where we used to practice. And because you can rent space for, you know, hour, 2, 3, whatever you pay for. And, you know, we get together and play and just see what we can remember. So it's still active. It's just few and far between are the encounters with each other. But we're still doing it. It's still to this day. I mean, I can't say that we haven't really split. So miss playing together and doing shows. But
that's a very familiar story to another band from our area that many people know you from, and that's Judge Nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You guys take hiatuses here and there and then pop up all of a sudden.
I know. A lot of people ask about reunion shows and get together, and, you know, that's easier said than done. I mean, just given where we all are in our lives and how we feel about performing live. But we do, I mean, we all stay in touch. We're all the best of friends. And, I mean, at the very least, we get together and do our own little Lost Weekend in St. Louis and just reminisce and eat and drink and connect. I could never say that there will never be another show. I never want to say that. I'm always hopeful because I miss playing with the guys. It was such an impact on me and all of us that were involved. But you never know. I just always kind of put it out there in hopes that it might happen again. So,
I mean, this thing goes back to kindergarten, right? With you and Andrew Dykeman, the drummer.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's our origin story. I mean, funny enough. I mean, of course, it wouldn't be, maybe 6 or 7 years before we would meet up again in 7th, 8th grade and start playing in his mom and dad's living room. But and that was around 1980. So yeah, it goes back several years. So
now is that when Flea joined as well? Brown Junior High?
No. Flea would have joined in about 1988, 89 is when he came in to the band because we were, you know, Andy and I did our own thing, and then we were Club Zero, and then that changed in 87. We changed the name, and then, you know, continued with Judge Nothing. So yeah, Flea didn't come until about 88, 89.
So did Club Zero do, was it the Youth Center uptown? I'm trying to think of where I saw, or was it maybe the Showbiz? I can't even remember where I saw you guys play anymore.
Yeah, we did play Showbiz. That was out where the Bell Scout was, wasn't that one? You guys remember Bell Scout?
Yeah.
I think that's what Showbiz was, yeah. We did a couple of shows, some Battle of the Bands there, but I think our first, I would say, real gigs were at the College Presbyterian Church, which I guess
that was the youth center uptown. The big there was that the Evangelical had their bands, and the Presbyterian uptown they called theirs the youth. I think I saw you play at both those places as Club Zero.
Oh, we did. Oh, we sure did. I mean, I think our first, like I said, first show would have been there at the youth center in that little gym at the church, and I think I actually came across. I don't even know how I came to have it. It's a recording from playing in that gym. Oh, I don't even know how and why I acquired that, but I thought it's just crazy to hear what we were doing, 1981, roughly, and we were just kids. We didn't know what we were doing,
right?
And but having a ball, that was our start.
Oh yeah, good times.
Oh, good times. Oh man, it just. Yeah, it was the catalyst to everything we were to do from that point on.
Right.
And just
the catalyst into life.
it was. I mean, it really kind of defined who we wanted to be and wanted to go. I mean, it just took several years to get through school and to really be out and being a real thing. But yeah, that was those early days where we cut our teeth, and man, I don't regret any of it. It was an amazing time and experience for all of us.
Yeah. And a great time for indie bands. The 90s.
Yeah.
Great time. Brand new thing called the internet.
Yeah.
Which started helping from sending those cassettes through the mail.
Oh, several.
And the
several.
And the zines that were around.
Oh yeah.
Lots more.
I mean, those were the
hands-on.
places you wanted to show up in those those fanzines and those small papers.
Yeah.
So we're looking at like
they meant a lot.
About early 90s, I guess. Judge Nothing got it going.
Mm-hmm.
And then
that was. Mm-hmm.
We were excited because a band gets signed out of Alton. Was that 95, I guess, on Thick Records, right?
Yep. Yeah. About 94, 95 is when Thick picked us up.
But you guys played so much leading up to that time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were, paying our dues all the way up until that point, and then, but everybody and their grandma had a band at that time, though. Yeah. So it was highly competitive to get out there and get picked up. I mean, there's even documentaries that I've seen recently that are about that very time and how disheartening it was for so many bands trying to, quote unquote, make it and get signed and get their product out. And it was tough, but it was fun. It's still worth all the effort and all the dues we were paying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and every time you leap over another hurdle, because there's a lot of hurdles to keep going at that kind of gig. And when you're like, oh, we got a gig. Oh, we got we made it to Kennedy's. Kennedy's is going to play.
Right.
And you get all excited about it. And there's all these great moments along the way that, like you say, it all is part of the ride and kind of defines who we become on some level.
Absolutely.
Or at least a portion
Absolutely.
of it.
I mean, you just hoping doing all that, someone's going to notice, and the right people are going to pick that up, and that that enthusiasm we showed, or at least tried to show. And again, but there's so many bands trying to do the same thing, so we had to keep doing it. We had to keep our chin up, and every decline we got from labels or along the way, we had to keep going. It's like, all right, that just fueled our fire, so to speak, just to keep going. And then Thick was a big help getting us out there and getting published and getting songs on TV shows. And we thought, okay, this is the next step. And there was just a longer way to go, but we felt like we were on the right track.
That was one of those hurdles. That day when you were just, like you say, every time you jump one of those hurdles, you're like, oh man, we made it to the next level. I can't believe we made it to the next level, whatever that level is. It's always a great feeling.
You brought up an old retailer in Bell, Scott. I remember playing with you guys in my band Cottonmouth in a field behind Central Hardware. It was.
Oh yes, yes. But now who's talking right now? Is it Sean?
This is Dennis. This is Dennis.
Oh, Dennis. Okay, Dennis. Yeah. So was that with Judge Nothing, or was it Club Zero? I want to say it was probably Club Zero. Do you remember who that was?
I'm going to say it was Judge Nothing because I'm pretty sure I still have a flyer. This would have been early '90s when we were all trying to find any place to play.
Okay.
So
yeah, you're right. I do remember that now. And
Central Harbor, I barely remember that.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah, it was back in someone's backyard. I mean, off.
Yeah.
That Albee? It was not Albee. Was it Albee?
I'm trying to remember if it's a seminary or Searing.
Seminary. Yeah,
seminary.
Back there. Yeah. You're right though. Behind Central Hardware. I mean, they'd get a bunch of kegs and bands play. It was.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a memory.
That's Blake Fleming's old neighborhood right there behind Central Hardware.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I ever knew he lived back there.
Yep.
Yeah.
There
wow.
It's a small town, man.
I know, but so much has gone on. I mean, when I think about history and what Alton has offered musically, it's kind of mind-boggling to me that what there still is, and then fast forward to Rock the Hops, and pulling all these people back and doing it a little bit differently. I don't know. That just makes me really proud to say, I'm from Alton. That's my hometown. That's my home, and it's still going, and maybe in a different way.
Oh.
But it's still alive around that town. It's amazing.
Oh man, it's unbelievable how many places there are to play around here, and all that backyard party stuff turned into like house scenes, and those guys that had house scenes here recently now have clubs, and we actually have an all original venue here in town. We've got a couple different ones that do all original stuff, but the Conservatory's 2 or 3 times a week. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
Justin's he's just doing it right. He's just got an amazing thing going on there. Just love it. It just makes my heart swell to know that he's doing it and doing it the way he is.
Oh, yeah.
And we
bringing that kind of talent in.
We tell the young guys all the time, how important that is to this area, and show them that, for us, we literally had to hide from the police to play sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think back during college when we were Club Zero, I've got a picture somewhere in a box of us talking to a cop as we're set up outside this barn or this garage. I don't know. It was a sorority party. And the cops, it was inevitable. Anywhere we tried to play, they show up. So,
yeah, and literally it was everywhere because back then my best friend was Scott Roberts. Still is. Still love him to this day. But he played with the Undecided, and they would practice at Don's house, whose dad was the chief of police, and the cops would get called to the chief of police's house to shut him down.
Right. Well, I never even considered that. That's true.
Yeah, it would truly happen where the cops would pull up to the chief of police's house. Miss Farmer lived across the street. Oh, Miss Farmer. Anyway, so she would call the cops on us because, whatever. But
yeah,
good time.
You had to do anything you could just to be able to play.
And like Dennis was saying, a few years back, they were having house parties that they were writing about in the paper beforehand. Hey, come to the Gears, they would call the house, or whatever, the Foxhole, or what. There was a few houses that they had given names, and they were like we would talk about it on the radio and in advance, where like back in our day, you kept a house party quiet as long as you could.
Oh, you didn't tell anybody.
Right, you told your best friends, and you said keep it quiet until like Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. No way you want to jeopardize it.
Right, man.
Party or so.
Well, yeah, because we didn't set up all this gear to not play, man.
Right. So many of those back then. Yeah, you had to be so careful.
You'll be at the lodge at Lovejoy.
Yes,
and
Lodge Lovejoy.
That's roots. That's roots for you as well, because you're in the lofts right there with Rich, right? Russ. I mean Russ. I always do that, don't I?
Yeah.
Russ Smith.
Russ Smith is just a great guy, an old friend, good friend, and I'm excited to play at his place. And really, the first Rock the Hops that's where I played the first year they had it. So I'm excited to be back and doing it there. And he's been bugging every time I come to town. He's always bugging me to come down and play. And as much as I want to, it's hard when it's just me. And it's kind of I'm not a nervous wreck, but it's just a different feeling when it's just you and not the other guys with you. So, but I'm excited to do it nonetheless.
We were just discussing that a few minutes before you called in, how naked it feels to stand up there with a guitar by yourself. And for me personally, to not have 3 or 4 guys that sound good to make me sound better.
Well, yeah. I mean, you feed off that, the volume, the vibe, and the whole symbiotic thing that's going on between you all. There's nothing, you can't explain how that feels to people. And when it's not there, it takes on a whole different character and personality for you if you're just you. So, I always, whenever I do these solo things, I always hope that whatever I'm exuding, and it's go to work, the feelings and the emoting or whatever I have to do to make some kind of impression. It's always nerve-wracking to make sure I'm accomplishing that. But I'm still so happy to be able to play and stay active. And
it is definitely easier when the group mind is in effect, and everybody's, like you say, feeding off each other, and it becomes more. Yeah, but yeah. So there you go. So you guys, what time is that getting kicked off there? 2 o'clock.
Let's go through that real quick. Andrew, Ryan, and the Levy from 2 to 3:15, and then some of the former members of Good Friends Band there, Autumn Clock, 33 on the Needle now.
33 on the Needle.
Right, 3:30 to 4:15, and Redemption River, 4:45 to 5:30, and then you, Mr. Doug Rafferty, 6 until
6 o'clock.
45, and then one of our favorite bands, everybody in town is always talking about, Lofty's Common. We'll wrap things up there at the lodge at Lovejoy, and they're going to bring the sax. And so you might want to sit in with them, because you have an emphasis on alto sax with your degree, right? Your jazz performance degree.
I do, yeah. I'm a broken record, but that came up recently, too. I need to get it in the shop. But I miss playing that. It was a whole different chapter of my life, and through college and learning jazz and playing that instrument, and it was fun, and I miss playing it. And one of these days I'll get it back out and play it regularly, never knowing what lineup, but it's just, it is part of my life.
That degree, though,
someday I'll get it out.
That degree's still working out for you, though. You're writing music for commercials and stuff these days, and weren't you a substitute for a while at Alton High as well?
I did, yes. That was kind of the way I survived. Was substitute teaching, and when we were off playing or touring, I'd come back and I think her name was Sue, who'd call me at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'd let her know I was back in town, and is there any work? Let me know. So I did that from 91 to 97 before I moved away. So again, that's a whole other part of my life that not that I forget that I've done it, but it was a strange time to be a substitute teacher.
That supplied a lot of ramen noodle, I'm sure.
Yeah, ramen noodle and frying bologna.
Right.
So whatever it took.
At the end of that's when you guys got signed, right? About 95. Your first record, at least, was I'm a Big Girl Now.
Mm-hmm.
And then Riveter, right, in 96. So back-to-back albums there with Thick Records in Chicago. And tell us what that was like once you were signed and playing all over the country, because you guys opened for Joan Jett, Uncle Tupelo, all kinds of bands, The Descendants, Fugazi. Yeah. Oh, man, Fugazi.
Oh, yeah, there was a whole list of bands, a lot of great groups and opportunities, and we were more than blessed to be able to go along with those shows and tour with those bands, and you backing up to Joan Jett, that actually was in 92.
Oh, wow.
Which came before Thick.
Okay.
But that was another just catalyst to kind of push us on to the next thing. The name became a little more known, and it would have been a few more years before we got on Thick. But once that happened, once we hooked up with Zach, like I said earlier, we got a publisher through that, and it was easier to get out. I mean, Andy was still booking shows. We didn't have a booking.
Wow.
Because he was so good. He just knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was the brain of the Judge Nothing Beast. So we trusted him, and so we just kept going and made contacts with who we could, and Thick just did everything else. And after Riveter, Zach was ready to push us to the next. He was ready, okay, you guys need to go to the next thing, and one thing led to another, and then unfortunately it didn't happen. But there was we were excited, probably more nervous than excited to kind of take it to the next thing, but on the next level. But Thick did us justice, and really we had a lot of support from them.
Now I got to know, how'd you hook up with Joan Jett? How'd that go down? Do you remember?
Okay, so that's a funny story. Well, not funny. I kind of remember we were going to play Mississippi Nights for just I don't even know what show it was. I can't remember who we were playing with. It was just maybe a local band show. I don't remember. So we knew Pat Lacey, who was booking there at Mississippi Nights. We were really good friends with her because she was managing the Rupettes and some other groups back then. And I went in, went over there and dropped off some posters or flyers and said hello to Pat in the office. And I said, just jokingly, hey, is there anything coming up that we might be able to play or anyone we can open for? And she jokingly said, well, Joan Jett's coming to town. Wouldn't that be funny? I said, oh, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, so we left it at that, and she came to town, and then Pat Lacey called us up and said, hey, Joan Jett actually needs an opening band. They got rid of the band that was touring with them. Would you guys be interested in opening? Well, of course. So it was just the one-off, just to open for that show, and that would have been it. Well, after that show, back the next day, she contacted Pat, said, hey, would these guys be interested in finishing out the tour? And so, the rest is history. And said, well, yeah. So we finished out probably 3 or 4 weeks that she had left, going south on the East Coast. And that was that. It was an amazing time.
So I guess that was mainly Mississippi Night size clubs that you played with her across the country? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was her main size as far as the crowds go. Yeah, they varied, but yeah, it was basically Mississippi Night.
That was a big deal, though, at that time to even play Mississippi Nights. That was kind of a pinnacle gig for a lot of indie bands,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It sure was. I mean, it was a premier club. It was just like, not unlike here in Chicago, you have the Metro, and we had many opportunities to play there. And so Mississippi Nights was the same for St. Louis. It was just the place for bands to play no matter what genre. If you made it there, it was a big deal. It was a big deal to be able to play that club. So,
and like you say, the genre there, it didn't matter at that club. I saw Red Hot Chili Peppers play there, and I saw Willie Nelson play there.
Yeah,
and everything in between.
Yeah, it was everything, and I think that's what made it such a special place. And then really sad to see it pulls up,
Absolutely.
And
the whole landing scene just gone kind of because that was the happening spot in the 80s in St. Louis, man.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the early 90s, that's where you went, and that's pretty much all moved to Del Mar, to the U City area, where there's really no clubs on the landing anymore. There's no action, no places for bands to play anymore. So
wow, that was the scene. That was a pretty cool scene down there.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
So once Judge Nothing puts out the 2 records, it wasn't much longer before you guys were breaking up in '97, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was '97.
Minneapolis or something like that?
What's that?
I'd heard it was in Minneapolis, kind of near where the Buddy Holly plane crash happened.
Yeah, the timing couldn't have been more, well, I shouldn't say perfect, but it was it kind of fell, the day that Judge Nothing music died is what we always called it. We had played the night before. We had played in Minneapolis at the 7th Street Entry, which is First Avenue, Prince's premier club up there. And the 7th Street Entry was the little club off to the side. And I don't know if it was that same night that Wilco was playing. I don't remember. It was a lot of things were going on that night we played, because we tried to go talk to Jeff. We had history with Jeff and Uncle Tupelo, went to college, all that. He never came out to say hello. And I think it kind of set the tone of that night. So we had a good show, but the next morning, driving back, Flea announced that it was time for him to bail, and not even a week or so after that, Andy kind of felt the same. I didn't see that coming. So,
tough time. Because you're making a transition as an adult to family life, and it's hard to juggle all that. You know what I mean?
It is.
And of course, Andy goes on to be Rosewood Chiropractic Clinic, right?
Yeah.
So,
Not long after that, he went off to go to Nashville and go to school down there, and he came back up, went to the chiropractic school in St. Louis, and I think it's Logan. And so, things changed for him. I mean, he just had like you said, just saw what the future could be, and maybe that just wasn't what he was seeing, and for Flea too. And I love those guys like brothers, and it was hard for me to accept that at the time, because I just wanted to keep going. But I mean,
well, you did eventually. 2010, you guys finally got back together, right? And did the
2012. We did it in 2012, which was 15 years later. We played the Fubar show and like four other shows. We played the Big Muddy and then we did an acoustic thing at the River Bend, I think, down there on 3rd. And
didn't you do something for WLCA as well? I thought.
I
want to say on 420, actually, and then played
maybe we did something. Yeah, I can't remember.
Played like Euclid on the 421, and then Fubar later that night, like 2 shows on one day.
I think it was a record store day. Yeah. We played at Euclid, and we played in another bar Thursday. It was like a series of like 4 or 5 shows in a row before we got to Fubar, and we were exhausted by then. It was silly to do all that, but but it was done. We did it, and then the same year we did the show with Bishops and Autumn Clock at the
the Mason Lodge, right?
The Lodge,
I mean, that was amazing. God, that was
it was
what a show that was.
Yeah,
crazy.
Exciting. You guys got
there's been good moments.
You got the videos done too over at KDHX, and there's still some great videos of you guys on a YouTube channel called Old School STL.
Right.
It's like Junk Piles on there, Chattanooga. I forget what all's on there, but a lot. It's like in studio footage somewhere. I don't know exactly where.
I know what that is. I'm sorry. As you're saying that, what is that? Oh, it was Rick Harmon, a longtime friend of ours, has in his house in Edwardsville. He has a studio, Dog Bite, and he let us use that to practice and rehearse. So yes, we recorded Chattanooga and Junk Pile. Yeah, there was just a few songs, and we captured some of that on video. So it's not just the 3 of us. There's Rob Wagner and Brian Leitner and Carlos Huddleston, who was in Judge Nothing, and so it's just a little group there that played some songs live. It was fun.
Now, I got a note here saying that you guys were on a compilation for the first Point Fest, right? Was that during that time as well?
The Point Essential?
That was before that, probably.
That was before.
Yeah. But you were in the were you on the album Not L.A.?
That was our kind of made up publishing.
Right, I know.
Not L.A. was
right.
Andy. We came up with that. So.
And then you guys had songs on like Dawson Creek and Party of 5 too as well. Or was that you?
No, that was Judge Nothing. Yeah, it's funny. Those came about just prior to our publicist got those opportunities. He made those happen, and we still see residuals from that. It's kind of funny. I mean, they're small.
Yeah.
But, we get a $2 royalty from Croatia, or somewhere in Eastern Europe. They pop up every once in a while.
So what do you spend your time doing these days?
Well, along with what I do during the day, I work at an elementary school. So that substitute teaching kind of came into play once my son started his school career. They'd asked if I would help be an assistant there. So I assist in special ed, and I've been doing that for just coming up on my 7th year. And I love the kids. I just love being with the kids. So it's quite an opportunity and a great experience. And in addition to that, since even before that, I was a staff composer for a company downtown Chicago from 2007 to 13, and wrote all the music for all their online content. They wanted someone there for full time, so it was a great job. It's like a dream job for a songwriter.
Yeah.
And so I used that experience when they did a whole reconstructing of the company. They let a bunch of people go. I was like, well, what do I do now? So I started freelancing, and I still do that. And so I still do a lot of audio mixing for a company called Elkhorn Entertainment, and they do. I mix a lot of bands, live recording of bands that they capture out in Albuquerque for PBS. You can find that stuff on Hulu now and Tubi, and I don't know. So I do that work too, and a lot of voiceover work too. Yeah. So I'm like a jack of all trades.
Nice.
But,
nice.
And we'll
to
see your
survive.
we'll see your trade of songwriting going on Saturday at
Yeah.
Lovejoy.
Yeah.
And that's 6
Yeah.
to
I'm
6 to
so excited for that.
6:45. Yeah. What else is happening? Did we miss any of the days on Rock the Hops?
I think we got 2 more days. I got some more questions, though. Can I ask?
Yep.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Hey, here's one that as I was doing my research, I came across, and when I seen the name, I was like, man, anybody who played in Chicago would remember this guy. And I was fortunate enough to play up there once, and he sat in with us, and that's Wesley Willis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good old Wesley. Yeah, we encountered him many places and different shows, living room parties, and
Yeah.
Metro. Saw him, and actually saw him by himself with the keyboard. And we also saw Wesley with the Fiasco, which was his backup rock and roll band,
Right.
which was just something you had to behold. It was quite a show.
Yeah. For those who don't know, he improv songs pretty much, right?
Yeah, mostly. I mean, he just kind of. I don't know if he had ever written anything down.
Right.
I don't know, but he wrote about every experience he ever had in that town,
Like,
and any band that he encountered or people that he met. I mean, he's got multiple CDs. If any,
yeah.
you don't know that he's just
Appeared on Howard
crazy.
Stern at one point. I seen
yes,
him
I
on
think
there.
I knew that.
Yeah.
Um,
But for example, just to throw this out there, the Judge Nothing song that he did with you guys, he's basically improving over you guys, saying Judge Nothing's in town, they're playing right now, something to that effect, right? And that was his style, you know.
He did. Well, what he would do, I think, he was pretty prolific for someone who had schizophrenia and
Right.
and was all over the town. But he made such a name for himself. Anywhere that he went, any band that he saw or people that he met, he would write a song. He would just hit the one button note on his keyboard, and then he would record himself. And that's really that was his go-to. That's how he did it. So the Judge Nothing thing, he saw us. I think it was the Fireside Bowl, I think is what he says in the song. So, yeah, he just did that on himself, for himself, by himself. We just happened to find out that we were on one of his CDs.
Yeah.
And just thought it was hilarious. And, you know, it's kind of an iconic thing.
It is.
For Wesley to pick you up and sing about you. It was like, oh, wow, that's something. Because he gets, you know, like you said, Howard Stern, Jello Biafra got a hold of him for label talk and support. So, yeah, there was a lot going on for him.
Yeah. I remember, well, I didn't know who he was when he sat in with us that night, but he was just fun to talk to, so we're like, sure, jump in, and he's like, they're going to rock you. They're going to rock you like a twisted tornado. I remember that's what he said.
God, he had them all. That's so cool that you actually played with him and did something with him.
Yeah, that's why I had to talk to you about it, because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe no one else does, but
no, unless you experience him yourself or get the headbutt, which he was known for.
Right. I forgot.
You know, to actually play with him and do something with him, that was pretty special.
Yeah. Hey, we appreciate you giving us a call and being part of
it's
the
been my
program
pleasure.
tonight.
I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, we've been wanting to talk to you for a long time. Hopefully we can get together in the future at some point and maybe have you in here. I do want to mention October 21st, before we let you go, at the Lodge, a tribute to one of our good friends, Gus Kodros. And, you're going to take part in that, I guess, huh?
I am, yeah. Tim from the Bishops reached out to me, you know, weeks ago, and asked if I would want to be a part of it and get together and relearn some songs that we did together when Gus was around. So yeah, absolutely, I'm down for that. And I know that Fritz is behind that, and he's helping out with the promotion. So we're all involved in some way. So that should be a great night.
That'll be great.
For a good cause.
Yeah, we were able to interview Gus a couple of times, I want to say, but one of the times we interviewed him when he came in, what we usually do is sit down with a guest before we actually go on air and spend a good 15-20 minutes, And he knew about that from me talking to him back and forth through email. And when he came in, he was so prepared. I had never interviewed anyone who was ready. He had his whole schedule, like his whole life history lined out for me. And you can hear us in an interview that we released later of the off-air stuff. It's on our YouTube channel, cottonmouth.org, where we put all our Riverbend talent videos. You can hear that entire part, and it's one of the most popular videos we ever did because he was just relaxed and kind of talking. It wasn't like in an interview style, and you really got a feeling of what Gus was like from listening to that. So,
wow, that's cool. Wow, I'd love to hear that, just to hear his voice. And
yeah.
Wow, I'm glad you were able to capture that.
Yeah, it's exciting, and that's what we've been
he's
trying to
dearly
do.
missed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big time. And, we're looking forward to that on October 21st. And we're definitely looking forward to you coming to town this weekend.
Yep.
Yes.
Saturday, you're playing 6 to 6:45 at the Lodge at Lovejoy. And,
I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to see some old faces and play some old songs.
Sounds good.
And some new songs.
And some new.
That's right.
Gonna mix it up.
Well, thanks for calling and spending some time with us, Doug.
Oh, my pleasure, guys. I really appreciate you, again, being flexible and just taking the call. I'd love to be there. But, we'll schedule a time where I can sit in front of you.
Yeah. Now we know Judge Nothing you can find on a lot of the streaming, Pandora, Bandcamp, a lot of that stuff. How about Doug Rafferty solo music? Can we find that in the same place?
I'm working on that as we speak with my other friend Brian, who's in Pet Lover with me, on Bandcamp, just trying to upload my artwork and songs that I've been working on over the past several years. So I'm working on that to get that out there too. So
I was on DougRafferty.com today. Remember that site?
Yeah, that needs a little updating, but that'll be kind of another project along with the Bandcamp. We'll try to incorporate both of those in conjunction with each other. So that was my, just putting everything out there that I was working on at the time.
Yeah, some of your instrumental beds on there, though, and one that jumped out at me just for the title, because I could tell you were probably just naming them to kind of know what they were. And one of them's called Roxana Waltz. That just caught me off guard when I read that.
Oh, the piano piece. Yeah. So a lot of people don't know. I mean, I've written a lot of piano music, too, over the years, and I did probably 30-plus lullabies before my son was born. So that's a whole other project that I've trying to put out there as well. But a lot of people don't know that I do that.
Yeah.
And when I was substitute teaching, I primarily subbed music. And so anytime I went to a different school, there's the McKinley March, there's the Roxana, that one, did you notice Roxana? I would write something that day on the piano, and then I would remember it, and then I eventually would record them. And there's other ones that I had written, but some of them didn't get recorded. But there's a few that I kept, and that's what you see, and that's that's what it's from. That's just from going to the schools, subbing, playing on the piano.
One more thing I wanted to throw at you, some of the vintage Judge Nothing stuff now popping up at Riverbend Records, some of your old vinyl popping up there, and there's rumor that possibly a drum set was at Alton Music Exchange, which is a music store. We don't know if that's true or not. I was just curious.
I don't know that it's true because I talked to Jared. I actually was in the shop last time I was in town, and he said, "Hey, come back and look at the set." And I said, when I looked at it, unless it was rewrapped or painted, I don't know that was Andy's old set. Okay. I can't confirm or deny it, but I looked at it and thought, I don't know how that even came to be, where it was even announced that it could be Judge Nothing drum set. I don't know. It could have been one of old ones that Andy had or got rid of, and someone redecorated, because it never looked that way.
Yeah.
He had a black set, and for a while when we first started, it was a red sparkle Slingerland, I think, or Apollo. I forget what that set was. So who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, Jared reached out to me and said, "Hey, does this look familiar?" So Like, oh, the way it was and decorated from his picture, I said, nah, I've never seen that before. So who knows?
I just was curious myself, so I thought I'd bring that up for fun. But nice to see your stuff is still hanging around and people care about it, right?
No, it makes us all feel good that the music's still out there and alive in some form or another, and people are still supporting it and always asking about it. So that to us is it kind of keeps us afloat creatively, and it always gives us hope for music in general, that people are still interested, and that means a lot, especially around that area.
I need you to put your teacher hat on just for a moment. Something we ask all the guys that have had some success in the music business. Is there anything you can give the younger guys some advice on as far as this music world that they might be interested in?
Well, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind, just giving the environment that we're all in now with how it's changed, and we don't have hard copy cassettes, CDs, and all that really floating around us like we used to. But just to be who you are. I can't stress that enough for anybody, even my son, who's coming up in music right now and finding his way. It's just to be you. I mean, we're pretty proud of who we were as players, the kind of music we were writing. We aspired and looked up to a lot of groups. I mean, that's natural. That has to happen. But to find your own way, it's just important to be you and not try to sound like someone else, or just try to be as creative as possible. I mean, I'd love to go around and just talk to kids and have conversations with, the ones that are coming up now and learning and playing covers, which we all started. We all started there, and but just to find your own voice. It's just so important to be who you are. That's one piece of advice I could give, is just to find your own voice.
That sounds great, and we went way over time, but it was well worth it. It's well worth
thanks,
it.
Man.
Good to talk to you again.
Okay, well, thanks, guys. I look forward to seeing everybody on Saturday, and I really do. This means a lot that you had me on the air, so I appreciate your time.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right,
thanks,
guys.
Doug.
Mm-hmm.
Have a
You're
good one,
welcome.
man.
Have a good evening.
All right, you too.
All right, there
Doug
it was,
Rafferty.
Doug Rafferty. That was awesome.
Yeah, good times, good stories, man.
Finally get to talk to him, and man, went way over, but thanks for Drew
that's all
Mader for coming in, and we've got all the shows listed for Rock the Hops and everything going on around the river bend at our website, cottonmouth.org, and that's thanks to Halpin Music Company and Mr. Matt Van Forst from Town Club, and we went through the list last week, so sorry we couldn't get to it tonight, but you got Doug Rafferty on the line from Judge.
And the list is online if you want to see it, so there you go. Hey, thanks again to everybody for listening. Thanks to our sponsors and everybody. This weekend is Rock the Hops along with all this other stuff going on, so please get out.
Check out their Facebook page, right? Rock the Hops, or rockthehopsalton.com as well. Wanted to mention that.
There you go. Everybody get out and support local music and art.